This way too early NFL win totals edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Cut. Cut is a peer-to-peer social betting platform that's U.S. based and available in 40 states. Head to cut.com, that's KUTT.com, and use promo code SGPN for a 10% deposit bonus. We're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Play their fantasy pick'em for a chance to win 100x in NBA, MLB, NHL, college basketball, and more. Sign today using promo code SGPN to get a 100% deposit match. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today.
Hey, what's up, you degenerate gamblers? This is Bill Burr, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, baby.
Cox. He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean. Second the Money Green was my partner in picks, Ryan. Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog. There's like a dozen people out there that got a delightful experience.
They got to see the behind the scenes where Josh tried to tell Kramer my mic wasn't working. Kramer didn't believe him, powered through, and then the chat.
I didn't see a reason as to why it wasn't working. It was an impossible reason. That's how I would qualify this. It's something I've set one time in the history of this show. So shout out to the computer.
Shout out to the computer. We got our mics working. We're fired up here on a Sunday night. Apologies for the late stream. I was at some dumb dinner and
whoa. What dumb? You were there. Couldn't have been that dumb.
No, I mean it was fine, but driving an hour to go eat dinner and then drive an hour back is not super fun.
All right.
I mean, how would you describe that dinner?
No, I wasn't there. I was just trying to be positive.
Okay. No, I appreciate your positivity, Ryan. No need to bring in positivity because it was just straight cash fest. I'll speak for myself, and I think Kramer as well. I think we went 9-0 in our UFL picks. Of course, we both gave out all four unders in the UFL. That hit. Colby decided to get cute and give out 2 overs. Those obviously didn't hit. It was an under parade. Then 4-0 in the picks, including the Brahmas money line, which is the 9th pick. Did you get anything wrong, Ryan? I think we were on the same with all our picks.
Did not get, and it wasn't even about like what we chose to bet on. It was more just the structural integrity of our system is very, very strong. I mean, it passed all the tests. If a barge ran into our UFL system, that barge,
unlike the Francis Scott Key Bridge, I read an article that said like these other 8 bridges are susceptible. Yeah, no shit. If a giant cargo ship plows into your bridge, it's not going to work out for the bridge. Clearly they built the cargo ship too high. They had too much on it. I mean, yeah, I think most bridges, if you drive something like a giant cargo ship into it, it will not survive it.
Well, I would have loved to see a little better structural integrity. I mean, you don't want to get into the issues with just half-assed bridge operations.
Yes.
I mean, who can forget that bridge in Washington that just disintegrated because of the wind? I mean, again, engineering, lazy.
We used to be a country. Olan in the chat saying y'all are both married. How do you deal with angry wife when on cold streak?
What? Yeah. The angry wife's on a cold streak?
No, he's saying how do you deal with an angry wife when on cold streak? Yeah, I think it's every once in a while. I would say once a month, your wife gets in a super bad mood, and if you even if you point out the timeliness of her bad mood, syncing to certain calendars monthly, it's just gonna end bad. So you almost just have to embrace the shit of, hey, my wife's mad at me, my picks suck. Lean into it randomly. It doesn't have to be a big money item. Randomly break out some flowers. That always surprises. Flowers for no reason buys you some grace with the wife, and it's a plus EV karma move. I don't know, any sort of like random token of goodwill will buy you a little bit of leash, and I think karmically it's a good reset.
Oh, interesting. So you're applying some level of correlation there between off-field and on-field activities.
Sure.
All right. I view them as completely unrelated.
What's your advice then for O-line, Ryan?
Church and state. Oh, I don't. Why are you in a losing streak? What are you doing? We just talked about the UFL. How could you possibly be in a losing streak?
Well, and college basketball not great on Friday, but man, the weekend picks, especially today, it was just amazing. I did all right on Thursday. I had Clemson money line. Today, Purdue laying the points, NC State plus the points, NC State over on Cut. Got NC State money line, great price over on Cut.com. KUTT.com. I think it was plus 260. That's what's great about Cut. You know you're getting the best price because it's the ultimate. Put your money where your mouth is platform. Promo code SGPN. Get the 10% deposit bonus. I mean, it just feels good knowing there's some Duke honk out there that was laying minus 260 against my NC State money line, and old DJ Horny and DJ Burns coming in there. Nice win for the Wolfpack. All in on the Wolfpack. I know we faded him, Colby tried to get us to fade him all year, but
I was thinking, I don't have any real allegiance to any school in North Carolina.
No, we were just tailing Colby. And
no, why don't we get some NC State gear in the office? Maybe we get a nice.
We redecorate Colby's desk with some NC State. He would appreciate it, especially if it's one of those cool old school pennants.
They play outside. It's cool.
Olan was busting our chops about listening to our March Madness picks. Yeah, there were some cold spots there, but
are you referring to my 0-8 performance in the Sweet 16? Is that
that was epic? I thought my 3-5 was bad, but then Kramer with the 0-8
and sprinkle in the fact that I was in Vegas for Friday there.
Yeah,
which let's just say I pressed a little bit on the bets in the old sports. That didn't go well. Fortunately, there were slot machines to be had.
The slot. How's the slot?
You follow me on social media, you saw, but I did hit another jackpot.
I did. I also hit a nice kicking jackpot with the Eagles. I didn't post the video yet.
I didn't get any update about this.
No, I didn't post it yet. Well, CJ, the man in the box goes, slot propaganda. You only post the winning videos. Yeah, what I was supposed to post? Just me getting nothing on the Eagles slot machine. No one that's not gonna get anything.
If I'm being real, if I showed you my camera roll of all the slot videos I haven't posted.
The slot. How's the slot?
It is a little. I was going through my phone and this is getting a little absurd.
Yeah, Ryan posted some fish slot machine.
Yeah, real quick.
Dragon Link.
Rapid fire recap. Hit the banger before the show on Friday. Then after the show, the wife. I forced. We had dinner with the wife. Then I forced the wife to play some slots to help with the comp situation. She proceeds to hit $1,000 jackpot.
Ooh.
I then head down to the Silverton on Saturday to get down on some more Virginia Tech related action in the college football futures world. With by the way, VOD Tech down to 300-1 to win the national championship. Sean, when I first brought it up, it was markets. Anyway, down at the Silverton, they have a special room for the Dragon Link slot machines. I walk in, and friend of the program, Dick Olson, gave me a tip or two. I used that tip, and then boom, I put a couple $100 in a machine, hit $1,000 jackpot. Got one of those hand pays. Nothing like one of the attendant has to you have to hold your hand out, and they place the money in your hand. It is,
and they get the little awesome tax document, Ryan.
Oh yeah, I got another one of those. So shout out to the government.
Shout out to the government.
That was a joke. No shout outs to the government.
Oh, okay.
Not right now.
I like the government. Any tax collecting agencies listening to the show. Shout out to you guys. You guys are doing the Lord's work. Ryan, you probably already forgot, but in the first version of this show, you were bragging.
I did not. I figured we would find another time where I would crowbar it in, but we'll go full circle and wrap up the beginning here. But the UFO, I was at home in the quote dorm room, just doing some DGen University stuff. Not only that, I also engaged in a text messaging thread related to DGen University. So double dipping, but yeah, was in the dorms earlier today watching some USFL.
And the applications are still open. dgen.university. I'm working on a couple diplomas for our first inaugural class, Ryan.
So first of all, I can confirm the pants are comfortable.
Oh, so comfortable.
Second of all, I did actually wear this while I was watching SFL football. Here's the dirty,
UFL, Ryan.
What did I call it?
You called it USFL.
Sorry,
Come on, you living in the past.
Well, I see
old man.
I see my stallions up on the screen. I'm watching the UFL. Here's the secret. This wasn't the live games from today, Sunday. This was me watching a replay of the Renegades Stallions game because I didn't catch the whole thing, and I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything.
Putting in work, grinding the UFL tape. Love it.
All right. But yeah, I mean, anything you wanted to add to the UFL thing?
No, just we dominated. We were 9-0, gave out no losing picks. It was an incredible run.
Someone made fun of us for doing a UFL episode.
Why? It's football.
And I think someone else,
dude, hit a Michigan Panthers. Now I didn't give that out on the money line. I did say it might be live. Brahmas was my money line dog. It might have been were you on the Panthers money line, Ryan? What was your dog?
We were all in the Brahmas, but okay. No, I mean, Michigan the idea was it was way too many points. I don't think any of us thought like that was the money line play, but certainly if you put them together, I know you guys, you guys hypothesized such at the end of the episode, putting them together, just the idea that you could get multiple 2.5 to 1 dogs in a league that no one knew shit about.
Yeah,
and clearly
Colby and I did give out the Michigan Panthers and the Brahmas on the money line parlay together. Let's go. And Colby did have Panthers as his money line play officially. The kid hit he didn't have the kicker, hadn't kicked since high school, hit a 64-yard field goal. They iced him, didn't count, and then came back and hit another 64-yarder. Ultimate onions play. So shout out to him.
I don't know if you watched it, but that wasn't an icing. That was the timeout get called, and he said, "You know what? I'm still just going to casually kick this."
Yeah.
And as I watched it live, boy, he did not swing his leg as hard as he could swing his leg on that first one.
I mean, this dude's going to be in the league.
So one of my, and again, if you're following me on social media, you're getting all sorts of sick intel.
I mean, and he hit it in Ford Field. If you're Dan Campbell, don't you look at that guy and go, wait, we need a guy who can hit a 64-yarder. We might have made it in the Super Bowl if we had a kicker like that.
So yeah, same field where Justin Tucker set the record in the NFL. But I did write that the UFL kickoff rule is what created this opportunity because they kick off from the 20. That's the only reason he's in the league. He's a kickoff specialist with massive distance. So if the UFL doesn't have this special kickoff rule, who knows if we ever see this amazing moment of glory.
All right, Ryan, we got a jam-packed show. We're going to rapid react the way too early NFL win totals. Again, they post them super early this year. This is pre-draft. Who knows what our official plays are going to be once we lock them up, but the lines are out. We owe it to ourselves and the audience. Rapid fire, instant reaction, no research.
Are we doing some best bets first, or you want to?
Yes, I was going to say, but before that, Ryan, we are going to do our best bets for April 1st. Of course, our best bets brought to you by Game Time. Head over to gametime.co. And again, MLB opening day just happened. Final Four coming up this weekend. The Masters, whatever you're going to see, big event, small event, whatever it is, Game Time has you covered. Download the Game Time app. Use the promo code SGPN. GameTime.co. Promo code SGPN. Get you $20 off. Last minute deals. Save up to 60%. Sports, comedy, theater, and more. You get the flash deals. The low price guarantee. Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Again, Game Time, very simple. GameTime.co or download the Game Time app. Use the promo code SGPN. Get $20 off your first purchase. Ryan, best bets for April 1st. No fooling. What do you got?
Well, I assumed you would talk about the NBA. So
yeah, I got 2 NBA plays. That's it's kind of a weird slate in NBA.
Yeah, it's just a weird time in general, right? We're getting into that. I even reached out. I phoned a friend and I said, "Hey, I reached out to a notable nerfy expert." He goes, "I'm not ready to give anything out yet."
So that was Jared Smith.
A little annoyed the season started so early. I'm like, you know what? I've been feeling this way for a while.
Also, MLB is so dumb. Why do you have opening day competing with the Sweet 16? Make it opening day should be today. If you're listening to this on a Monday, why is today not opening day?
You dumb
we just had the
motherfuckers.
Easter holiday. Okay, opening day Monday. You would have we're jonesing for action, but now the MLB, opening day, it gets you sucked in. But now it's like game 3. Who cares?
I mean, again, yeah, I'm with you. You.
Our buddy Justin Steele already dealing with the hammy. Shout out to you, Justin, on a speedy recovery.
I would never make fun of Justin, but the first thing I saw was like a kid in one of my teams, like just being like, "Oh, you didn't stretch." It looked like it popped good too. He's going to be out for a while. That sucks.
Couple weeks, unfortunately. Yep.
All right,
Kramer, what do you got for the?
You know where I'm going. I'm staying in March Madness. We got some action.
CBI
on the the women's tournament.
Oh,
Sean,
how progressive!
Very progressive of me. 2 plays, like you said. I'm matching. Well, it's Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese, right? Rematch of the national championship, just like our gals in UConn a couple rounds ago, featuring Kim Mulkey, who I learned earlier today has a child named Kramer. Kim Mulkey, who's been at LSU for a couple years, she's really making a lot of noise. Did you know she coached at Baylor for all those years? She's been running her mouth. There's that expose that's going to get published about her. They only interviewed the people that had negative stuff to say for some reason. Seems really weird. But Sean, she was a 5'4" absolute baller at Louisiana Tech, 4-time national champion or state champion in college, a 2-time national champion in college. Sorry. But she won an award, Sean, that I thought you might appreciate. It's called the Francis Pomeroy Naismith Award. It's given to the nation's top senior who's under 5'6". This is an actual award that Kim Mulkey won.
Oh, I wish they gave that to 5'9", 5'10" guys in rec leagues. Josh, I just sent you a photo of Kim Mulkey.
She's so great. If
you could please pull it up, Josh. It's pretty fun.
I mean, honestly, she's one of these people. The men's game has had many of them, where they are probably a complete piece of shit, but they are also probably incredibly valuable for the game.
Yeah, most coaches are dicks. Probably same applies to the women's game. She is wearing. I'll try and describe it, but you really need to go to youtube.com/sportsgamblingpodcast. It is a giant glittery jacket with dice on it, hearts, playing cards, Lucky Charms,
honestly,
poker chips. It's like an awesome Vegas jacket. Now, it says
the horseshoe in there makes me. This is like AI. Like someone types in "draw me luck."
Yes,
and this is what it comes up with.
But it's funny because the headline that they're using this photo for is Kim Mulkey allegedly treated gay players differently and embarrassed players, which is when you're wearing this kind of outfit. It is, I don't know, just the pairing of that headline with this outfit. And again, who knows? She's probably a sociopathic bitch. Like, I mean, a lot of these coaches, I just think have what crazy maniacs my coaches were in high school. I can only imagine what goes on at high level college programs. So who knows, but her outfit just cracked me up.
I think when you achieve the highest level of something, and if she's 5'4", so she probably had to work pretty hard.
She's got a little Napoleon syndrome as well.
I think you have that, but you also like that's probably what it took for you to get where you got. So you're like up everyone else's ass in the same. I see a lot of like parents living vicariously in the same way, where it's interesting. Anyway, Iowa, LSU. We're taking, this is the year of Caitlin Clark, right? There's no way the evil empire from down south at LSU is going to ruin the party.
They are giving her a friendly whistle, according to people I listen to.
Oh my goodness. She's the Zach Edey of women's. By the way, that's the other thing I learned, Sean. Zach Edey, potentially of Irish name, so maybe he's a fellow Irishman. You'll have to start rooting for him.
Oh yeah, he looks super Irish.
Yeah, you know the name.
Lot of 7'6" guys trolling around Ireland.
Oh wait, Josh, if you still have that video up of Zach Edey,
maybe we can get Jake to Photoshop him as Zach Edey as a leprechaun with his pot of gold. I mean, come on, Irish are like the tiniest dudes.
Look at this. This is Zach Edey taking someone back to his room. Look how big he is. Look how fucking big this guy is.
It looks like
he's so fucking big. Look at that girl in the background.
It almost looks like a adult going in like a kid's fun house, you know, where it's like they're way too big to be like almost a kid, like an adult going to find their kid in McDonald's Playland where they're just like hunched over.
All right, we got to take this off the screen. I feel like we're showing a crime about to be committed. All right. So yeah, obviously you got to take Iowa, lay the 1.5 with the Fighting Caitlin Clarks. And on the other side, Sean, I don't know if you know this, but the wrong USC made the Final Four, not the number 1 seed. They were knocked off. It's the USC from out here, Sean. I don't know if you've been paying attention. Juju Watkins. I know you're a big fan. You've been taking in a couple of those games. They're taking on UConn. We're fading you. We got to fade UConn somewhere and let it be successful.
Not in the men's game. I'll say that.
We're gonna take the Trojan plus the points. Iowa -1.5. Trojans +4. That concludes my women's March Madness.
I got 2 NBA plays. Are the Celtics playing? Yes. Should you bet their first half? Yes.
I wrote this down on my sheet.
The full game spread 17. The first half line isn't out. We'll call it at 9. I'll play it up to 10. Back to they're playing the Hornets. Hornets are a 17-point home dog. And I know what you're thinking, like, oh, maybe some value. No, Hornets have been really, really bad. This is actually a back-to-back spot for the Hornets. So again, probably not going to be super motivated even in the first half. They just lost by 12 at home to the Clippers today. So not expecting, and then they lost by 18 to the to the Warriors on Friday. Hornets are just horrible. You could probably play the Celtics full game, but I think first half they easily beat them by 10 in that first half. Celtics next game isn't until Wednesday. And again, 53-20 ATS in the first half for the Celtics. Going to keep riding that train till it comes off the tracks. Next up, I got the New Orleans Pelicans at home, 1-point home dog. Pelicans coming off a loss. They're playing the Suns. Suns also coming off a loss, but it's a back-to-back road spot for the Suns. Huge game for the Pelicans in general in the West. Fit Zion has been playing really well ever since he got rid of that soda. And
may I add real quick?
Sure.
As someone who doesn't watch every minute of every game like I do in the UFL, really shocking how losing weight and actually getting in shape to play a sport is good for that sport.
I did say to Kramer, I think the Pelicans were randomly on. I go, Kramer, look at this. Look at how skinny he looks. You don't even recognize the guy.
So explosive when he's not carrying that 40
he really
pound
is.
fucking
Dude, he
cinder
was
block.
so fun to watch in college. And Fun Zion's back
Until they took his shoe out, and that was scary.
That was the beginning of the end. Pelicans, the best team ATS after loss in the association, 19-18-1. So give me the Pelicans as a small home dog here right now, +1, and give me the Celtics laying 9 in the first half at Charlotte.
Very good.
Shout out to Shark in the chat. He does the Bet US NBA show with me. You can check him out there on the old Twitter, Sharky Waters 88.
I was chopping it up with a shark earlier today too. Shout out Scooby, right?
Sorry, Shark in Sports 88. I think I got it. I don't know. I've had a couple cocktails. Yes, Shark and Sports 88 knows a ton about. We got MLB for Shark, NBA. Check his stuff out for sure. Kramer, let's do it. Let's get in on the old NFL win totals. Rapid fire reactions.
How should we go through them? Should we just go bottom to the top like we normally do?
Yeah.
All right. So I put in a little bit, and again, if you're in the Patreon, you're getting access to the sheets. I've added some additional numbers, information. Just a good way to look at something visually. And be like,
deltas,
good or bad. So yeah, essentially, if you're looking at the sheet, there's a couple columns that represent the delta in the number of wins from last year and the win total for this year, and then the number of the win total from last year and the win total this year. Essentially saying, did we have some sort of crazy adjustment from last year that's not warranted? Starting at the bottom, 4.5 wins for the Carolina Panthers, juiced slightly to the over, and 4.5 wins for the Patriots.
Laying 135,
juiced to the over. I couldn't imagine wanting to go over for either of these teams with that kind of juice. We're seeing both of these teams with a massive adjustment downward in terms of the win total, but that's because both of these teams massively underperformed last year.
Yeah, I mean, instant reaction. I know you usually when the numbers is low, there's some value in taking the over, but I'm not taking any overs on Carolina Panthers till I see something different from them. So I'll go under 4.5 for the Panthers. Patriots, though. Now I'm not going to play this at 4.5 minus 150, but if this moves up to 5, which I'm sure it will, I could talk myself into this Pats team because I don't know. We'll see. Like the Pats played some pretty decent defense there. I mean, I'm sure some of that was Belichick scheming it up. Gerard Mayo. Yeah, we'll see. I understand the AFC East is going to be a little bit more competitive, but this New England Pats team getting to 6 wins, I don't think is that crazy. I don't, they're just not a complete bottoming out program. Who knows who their starting quarterback is? I guess that's the big question there, but yeah, I would actually take the I would take over 4.5 for the Pats, under for the Panthers.
Panthers don't seem to be trying to win right now. That would be the concerning thing there.
Well, they're spending a bunch of money to sign like guards, and the Patriots have Jacoby Brissett. I don't know.
That's part of my handicap
yeah.
with the Patriots is basically they might not take a quarterback. There's now I've now seen from multiple places that they don't take a quarterback. I'm if you're laughing because I'm the Giants. Giants are taking a receiver first. So, but yeah, Panthers under. What I would point out here is the Patriots had a bottoming out season. They still won 4 games.
Yeah,
and so this adjustment down of 3 wins seems like it's an over adjustment. Whereas the Panthers, you adjust the win total down 3 from the previous year, and it's still a number that they would have needed 3 more win. They need a 3-win adjustment still to get there. So I'm lockstep with you. And
off the top of my head, Pats were definitely one of those teams with a bunch of 1-score losses, including losing to the Chargers 6-0 at home, losing to the Colts 10-6, losing to the Giants 10-7.
My parlay with the Raiders,
losing to the Commanders by 3, losing to, I mean, so many. Yes, your Raiders, Patriots, where you lost that. They lost by 4 when they were catching 2.5 or 3. I mean, it's not like they completely got obliterated for how bad their record was. They actually had a bunch of close games.
And you nailed it. They have Jacoby Brissett, who's more than capable of winning a handful of games.
Jacoby Brissett will fuck around and get you 7 and 10 wins.
Worth noting,
7 and 10.
The NFC has the extra home game this year. Broncos only team at 5.5. Which is a massive adjustment based on last year. The win total last year was 8.5. They won 8 games. We're dropping it all the way to 5.5 because we have no certainty on what the quarterback situation is going to look like. But again, this is the reason I added these columns and colors was to allow it to make very easily see and highlight, oh, this team underperformed last year. They went under last year, and now we're adjusting too far. I'm completely with you. I mentioned Sean Payton on the Coach of the Year market. I see no reason why this team should be trading to sound like a smart person in the 5.5 range.
Yeah, and I still think they're going to.
What am I missing? Are they tanking one more year or something?
No, Sean Payton doesn't tank.
Well, he is a tank.
No,
you ever see that guy sitting down for the coach's photo?
He's fired up.
Just looks like a square on a chair.
He's not going to tank. And look out how much better that Broncos team did once they figured out their defense. Once they started getting rid of the veterans from the previous administration that were slacking. Peyton really put his foot on the throat of the team essentially in that second half, and they played a lot better. And part of it was like, hey, we got to get rid of Russell Wilson. He is, addition by subtraction there. They're easily going to go 6-11.
Yeah. I think
I mean, we'll see. You know, right now, Jared Stidham is their hypothetical starting quarterback. I think they're going to do something about that between now and when the season starts. But even with Jared Stidham, I think they can win 6 games.
Yeah, the Raiders won 8 games last year. Whatever they had, they won 8 games last year. The Broncos with a guy the coach clearly hated. All right,
the entire team.
6.5 win tier is pretty thick, very thick. We got the Cardinals, Raiders, Vikings, Giants, Titans, and Commanders. So we'll start with the AFC teams. Raiders, Titans. The Titans. I'd say the Raiders and Titans are both like operating like they're trying to win more than 6.5 games this year. Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah, I mean the Titans are interesting because I think they're a pretty high variance team. Like I liked some of the flashes I saw at a Will Levis. I think they have a pretty high ceiling. If Will Levis makes a nice leap, they surrounded him with a bunch of veterans, did some good stuff. I like what they're doing with their offensive line. I think the AFC South is going to be the AFC South is actually going to be fairly tough. If you think the Colts are going to be good, even if you're skeptical on the Jags, like I am, you still have the Texans in there. So I think that would be the concern, is that your division is really tough. I would still probably take the over here.
I'd take the under.
Okay.
You're better off playing the futures markets. I think taking the Titans, like if you do like the Titans, I did just take a little Will Levis 150 to 1 MVP to division, something
You're right.
like that.
It's probably the way to play it is probably the longer shot stuff, positive. Cause you're right. Over 6.5. I'll still leave it in there, cause my numbers project them to win 6.9 games, Ryan. Nice. But I'm with you. I think probably just sprinkle some of the long shot stuff, cause those prices are going to be really high.
They did win 6 games last year in a pretty bad year.
Yeah,
like
but
it caused the coach to get fired.
There's a lot of moving parts.
Tannehill sucked.
Levis starting 17 games.
Yeah, no, I think the Titans are kind of playing it like it's either going to work or they're going to be picking first next year. Raiders, same kind of situation for the Raiders as the Broncos to me. The Raiders are the only team we're talking about down here that actually went over their win total last year, which is an interesting nugget. They only adjusted it down 1. They would have gone over this by 1.5 games last year, going 8-9. They do, again, the AFC loses a home game this year. They only have the 8, but to me, yeah, this is like a Raiders versus Chargers bet to me. Who do you think is going to get the extra win in the division?
Well, I would say Harbaugh, much better coach, and I'm skeptical of Antonio Pierce. Like I think he's a great leader of men, but I think now we see this all the time with the rah guy comes in as the interim head coach. Everyone's like, "Hey, he's the man. Let's keep him." Then to do it again with expectations is another level. So right now, as is April 1st, I'm skeptical. So I would go under Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of did it without figuring out quarterbacks, so I think they can only improve that or have a guy in his second year. So I'll go over here. I do want to be bullish on the Raiders, I think, and they kind of stand out in my my color scheme. All right, NFC teams and Cardinals. A team that I am high on, but almost in a similar fashion to the Titans. I feel like there's better ways to play this. They were 4-13 last year. We're bumping it up to 6.5. That's a 3-win adjustment. 5 and it feels like a lot. It feels like make playoffs, division, Gannon, coach of the year. I guess I'd take the over if I was picking a side here, because I want to be more bullish on this team, and I don't want to take overs for everyone, but yeah, Cardinals are over.
Yeah, I'm optimistic about what the Cardinals are doing relative. I don't know if they quite have that ceiling that you're describing. I guess I can see it. I do think
Kyler.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know. Kyler to me is a bit of an enigma. I'm worried they could lose some close games, but I think the division, NFC West, I still think is going to be pretty wide open. I think the 49ers, you're already seeing they've lost some of the guys they're trying to bring back. And I think the Rams without Aaron Donald, we'll see how they look. Seattle without Pete Carroll, I think Pete Carroll was kind of keeping that thing afloat. So I'll lean under or over here right now with the Cards at 6.5.
Yeah, in general, probably better to fade the new coaches than take them, because I feel like more are going to tank than are going to rebound their teams down here. All right, Vikings, a coach that everyone seems to love. He did have a very attractive wife when we saw him out in Vegas for Super Bowl week. But the Vikings at 6.5 this year. That's down 2 wins from last year. So we're saying Kirk Cousins to Sam Darnold / JJ McCarthy / maybe Drake May is worth 2 wins. They had 7 wins last year with all the crazy shit. The Josh Dobbs.
But he won them some games too.
Well, that's what I mean.
It works both ways, right?
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, like, they had a crazy season, very volatile at the quarterback position. They still landed on 7. I think everyone has respect for Flores again now. It's like they forgot. The defense was scrappy. They picked up a hungry Aaron Jones so far this offseason. I mean, I do think there is something to that. You know, I'm a big Aaron Jones
You just
guy.
love that guy.
If you believe that the system is going to be good for a rookie quarterback, they're going to take a rookie quarterback. So I think this is the one team that you can be a little bullish on. They have Justin Jefferson, they have Jordan Addison, they have eventually TJ Hawkinson. I mean, that offense is pretty lit with Sam Darnold. It's going to lead me to betting on Sam Darnold for something this year.
I'm out on the Vikings right now. I don't see it. I'm not a big Darnold guy. I think the division's going to be super competitive. I'm worried about, there's always that upside with the rookie quarterback CJ Stroud, but that's also pretty rare. In general, rookie quarterbacks are closer to Bryce Young or Will Levis or shit like that. So I'm going under 6.5.
I guess it was more just referring. Yeah, CJ Stroud would be a good example just from the offensive structure. Like, the Vikings seem to allow for quarterbacks to have success. Having Justin Jefferson on your team certainly aids in that. Giants 6.5 as well. They had the absolute Murphy's Law
lock it up
worst case scenario last year, and they got to 6.5 here plus odds. Obviously, we're going over. They're not going to have the worst case injury season again.
I think injuries help the Giants, at least at the quarterback position. You got to look at Tyrod, who is clearly better than Daniel Jones. All in on the Giants under 6.5. They still have massive questions at quarterback. They still have massive questions on the offensive line. I don't know who is catching passes for them. Darren Waller, their quote unquote premier pass catcher.
Retired.
He retired.
Yeah, he wasn't. I mean, that's fine.
I think their defense might be a little bit better, but I'm just
excited for Shane Bowen. Thanks for bringing it up.
I don't see how this team puts up points.
That
Saquon Barkley, you lost.
Well, it's the put up or shut up season. So Brian Dable has revoked play calling duties from Kafka. He'll be calling plays this year.
Yeah, I mean, I predict Giants will have a top 3 pick for next year.
This.
And Brian Dable will not be the head coach.
Well, that's a great prediction. Washington, I'm on the over. Washington Commanders also at 6.5. To me, all right. So I could talk myself into a rookie being successful in the O'Connell system. I can talk myself in a rookie being successful in a Sean Payton system. I could even, in a weird way, talk myself into the Raiders, because they would just hand the damn ball off. But the Commanders, for some reason, Cliff Kingsbury, just staring down the barrel of a rookie quarterback. He's the kid in the fucking clay class that everyone's making nice little bowls, and he's just throwing the clay on the ground. Just making a mess of everything. I don't know why. I feel bad for Commanders fans. This isn't hope. This is false hope.
I do think there's a no Dan Snyder little bit of mini bump possibility here. You might get some fans coming in the stands. You do have I think some talent certainly on this roster, But again, I don't know why they didn't fire Ron Rivera last year. Rip the Band-Aid off. Like, who are you kidding? You were never going to keep Ron Rivera as your head coach. They're like, oh, it's too much change in 1 year. What do you mean? Like that? What are we talking about? I don't understand that logic at all. I'm on the under here.
I think we all.
There's just too much, just too many question marks.
Dan Quinn failed. It's not going to work. I feel more confident about that. All right, so 7.5 band. We're up to 7.5. Saints, who are in this range every year. Last year they were 9.5. We're dipped in 2 wins. Jameis no longer on the team, so I have no fucks to give about the Saints. They went 9-8 though last year. They seem to constantly be in we're competing now mode, but we're never going to be good enough.
Saints
to
never bottom out. They just don't. I mean,
but they appear to be like this appears to be, and I'm way overweight on the low number overs, but this seems like an over.
Ryan, when was the last time the Saints won less than 7 games?
I know there's a 4-12, like there's like a 4-12 season in there, but it's probably a decade ago.
2005, they went 3-13.
2 decades.
Yeah,
that was when Sean Payton.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 win seasons in there. A couple 13 wins, obviously when Peyton and Breeze were kind of at their height. But
even did they bottom out though?
No, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of 7s. I guess this to me feels like the tightest win total band where it's like they can either win 7 or 9 in that range. I don't see them winning 10. I don't see them getting 6. I'll go over with you on 7.5.
I don't really want to,
but I'm not like, I don't like this Saints team.
And they could be bad though, right? Like what happens? Who's their backup?
No, they're gonna have to have a bottoming out reset year probably, and maybe this is the year. But again, it's not like the NFC South is super competitive either. Like I think.
Do you think John Gruden's gonna have time to get away from the seaman to help install offense?
He is with that the Milano seaman. Google Milano seaman.
Oh,
make sure you spell it. Make sure you spell it correctly. But yeah, he's a head coach over in Europe. I don't know if he makes it over. Right?
My Italian character on the show has some new wardrobe coming in. Don't worry.
Oh hell yeah,
so we're ready.
So both on the over.
Yeah, I guess I you know what? Flip this around. Give me the under.
Okay.
You're right, but I'll take the narrow. I'll say that band is 6 to 9 wins. And Derek Carr sucks. I don't want to be on Derek Carr this year.
He does, but he wins.
Fucking sucks.
He beats up on some shitty regular season teams.
Fucking sucks.
And they get an extra home game. They're a team that's probably still has somewhat of a home field advantage.
We've disproven that recently, though, Sean. They're a better road team, ATS at least. Seattle, another team that went 9-8 last year. The win total was 8, so they're the second team we're talking about that actually went over their win total last year. And the win totals I'm using from last year are way too early. 7.5 this year. Juice is dead even. I don't know what to believe here. This feels a little bit like I have to buy the snake oil of the man who sold the snake oil to the other man. I like Harbaugh. I don't know if I like a Harbaugh guy. And so the Seattle coaching situation, I think Pete Carroll's a great coach. I think it's hard for me to believe this team is going to stay the same without him.
Yeah. I mean, I was ahead of the curve on Geno Smith 2 years ago, then kind of skeptical last year, and I'm full out this year, especially without Pete Carroll, who I thought, I'm with you, a very good coach. Yeah, I was kind of old fashioned in some of his ways, but he got that team ready. Under 7.5, they could be bad.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it does seem like they're one of the teams that has a pretty low floor. Chicago, interesting situation Caleb Williams is walking into. Plenty of news circulating now. I'm surprised they're still letting you bet on Caleb Williams to be the first pick. The Bear.
Why? He's not going to be picked by the Bears first. Isn't that what you were championing that?
No, what are you talking about?
Oh, anytime I said the Bears are taking him first, you were like, not so fast.
No, there was a point where I said, I don't know if they're going to trade Justin Fields. They're having a hard time. And that turned out to be true. And so if they didn't do that, who knows what they were going to do with the first pick? That was the point. Yeah. But no, what I was going to say, I was going to share useful information with the audience before you had to interrupt me.
No, right. You were, anytime I said, well, the Bears are 100% taking Caleb Williams, you pushed back on that.
Yeah. At that time, information's changed. And what I'm going to share with you is the Bears are already saying publicly that they are installing offense with Caleb Williams. So if you can still bet on Caleb Williams to go to the Bears, or would you put down 1,000 to win 100, Sean? What would be your limit?
Yeah, sure. But I don't, no one's taken that minus 1,000.
Minus 10,000. Would you put 10,000 to win 100?
Nah. It's just not fun.
What's the rate of return on that? 100,000 gets you 1,000. Doesn't seem like there's enough juice. You can just pop over to Photo Finish Live and do a lot better. Yeah. So Bears seem to have a nice roster for Caleb Williams to get into. The only problem is that pink phone. I hate that the Bears look appealing to me because it does seem like the Bears are going to find a way to screw this up. What are your thoughts on this one? Because the division is tough.
I'm seeing Caleb Williams is minus 4,000, right? So 4,000 to win 100.
The Bears are on record talking about installation, which tells me that you're not telling the guy your playbook if you're not drafting him.
Yeah, no, I was saying he was going there the entire time when you could have got a much better price. Yeah, I mean, was I not?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's fine.
No, but you were giving.
I don't know who you're touting to.
No, I don't. I'm sarcastically touting to you because you were giving me shit like, oh, not so fast.
No, we were just having a debate on the podcast. Okay. We were discussing something on the podcast. We were doing the podcast.
I know. Chicago Bears, the defense did look better with Sweat there the second half. This is just tough, man. Rookie quarterback, sky high expectations, and you're the Bears. You figure out ways to fuck things up.
It's a very high number for a rookie.
Under 8.5. Now, yeah, there are your CJ Strouds every once in a while, but even CJ Stroud, he got knocked out, missed a couple games, and even them, like perfect scenario, coach of the year, more or less. Wait, who did he get it? No, Stefanski got it.
It's also the style of offense. Like
and they barely got there. Texans were 10-7 in a division. Well, we'll see what the NFC North is, but I think it's going to be a little bit more competitive than the AFC South was last year. I'm just saying, best case scenario for CJ Stroud, almost like a historic rookie season, a la your Andrew Luck rookie season. I mean, he was 11-5, kind of historic. To get over 8.5 is really tough.
Yeah, do you believe in the offense? It's like, all right, a Shanahan system. You can at least see it. Jimmy G did it all those years, but for whatever the Bears are trying to do, I don't know. And now they're doing it with a new guy. It's going to be new for everyone. That doesn't seem like a recipe for a team that's going to win 9. When's the last time they won 9 games? All right, another 8.5. We got the Cleveland Browns. They won 11. The win total was 9.5 last year. It's now 8.5. What am I missing, Sean? Other than just a blind, like, okay, well, Watson's going to start the year, so we better fade this.
Yeah, I mean,
Jameis Winston's on this team, Sean.
Yeah, Jameis Winston, incredibly exciting. Doesn't get in and doesn't win games. Other than that, I love Jameis Winston.
He knew that this was a spot to go because Deshaun Watson's fragile as shit.
They lost their best quarterback, Joe Flacco. I'm not kidding you.
They signed Jerry Jeudy. They don't need a quarterback. This is a team that does not need a quarterback.
And yet they have to play with one. That's the issue, Ryan.
Jameis is on this team. I gotta go over here. We're going to be. I mean,
their defense is really good at home.
They have a great home edge. They're going to run the ball well.
Stefanski's decent enough, but also it's Deshaun Watson. Just Deshaun Watson.
What if he's back?
He's not back.
What if he's finally?
He's never gonna be back.
Deshaun Watson.
What if he's released that tension finally?
I mean, Deshaun Watson is never going to be back. He put up good stats in 2020 and he was 4-12. The last time he won double-digit games was 2019. We were going into the 2014 season. It's not happening. I know he was 5-1, but we watched those games. If anything, in those 6 games, he outperformed the expected win total by me watching the games going, how the fuck did they win that game? You remember that interception he tried to throw and like bounced up and skyrocketed and they caught a touchdown pass? Like, yeah, I think you forget the games they pulled out of their ass when he was starting, Ryan. Under in a big way. Now the problem is he could get hurt.
Yeah.
And Jameis could be in, or they could trade for Flacco, and that's where you get screwed. But if we're projecting Deshaun Watson as the starter, which we are, under.
Oh wow. Okay. I think I'm. He's not coming back because he's laying on his back, Sean. No, I got to take it. Jameis is playing games. He knows what's up here. Deshaun's a bitch. Even though he's going to be coaching him best he can, he's also hoping for an injury. Over Colts, another 8.5 here, plus 110 to the over. Interesting. They won 9 last year, mostly with Gardner Minshew. As what AR-15 only started and finished 2 games, I believe. He started 2 more and didn't finish them. Maybe a third in there. Boy, hard to not want to.
Unlike Deshaun Watson, he had trouble finishing. Right.
Oh, he did have trouble finishing.
You have to know when to come.
This is interesting. I want to be optimistic here. The slot machine tells us we should be optimistic. I don't know what to think here because they don't have Gardner Minshew anymore.
No, they got Joe Flacco, which I think Flacco would be awesome in this scheme and with this team. They got Anthony Richardson, massive upside.
They look so different. They're not the same player.
No, but Ryan, I think in the same way, in the same way that Carson Wentz looked really good in that 2017 Eagles scheme, and then when he got hurt, you brought in Nick Foles, who was a statue. He's probably the best comparison to Joe Flacco, and he succeeded at a really high level. So I like what I've seen out of this Colts team. I think they're a well-coached team. I think they get over.
Yeah, I tend to want to agree with you because I think this team showed what it. I think Flacco could be a problem if he has to play though. Jacksonville, another 8.5. Certainly like the Colts more than the Jags. The win total was 10.5 last year, so they dropped it a couple. They did win 9. They lost Calvin Ridley. I don't know if this team did really anything in the off season that's getting you excited. They still rely on Evan Ingram a lot. The defense has it has pieces. This is an interesting squad, but they could finish in last place in this division, and that wouldn't shock me. So I'd have to take the under, but we're Jags haters.
Yeah, I'm on the under. Not a Goldilocks. Not a believer. I'm gonna keep playing the. Now maybe the market's adjusted too much, but I still, I'm just not a Trevor Lawrence believer. I don't know who he's gonna throw to. Don't feel great about that team. Skeptical of their defense, and I think the AFC South in general is going to be much better this year.
They missed their window. Yeah, the teams around them have all gotten better.
Ryan rocking my underdog fantasy shirt because I love me some underdog pickup. If you follow me on X at Sean T Green, just tweeted out another winner. We've been on a nice streak.
Oh my goodness!
In the college basketball picks show, and then I tweeted out this little gem: DJ Burns Jr. higher 13.5 points. Kyle Filipowski lower points, rebounds, and assists 27.5. That
did it
cash,
win? Oh,
no
nice.
Problem. Nice little winner there. Added on to all the game winners, and of course the 9-0 UFL bloodbath that we got going. So again, get over on Underdog. We'll be doing some best ball drafts, aka the best way, aka the only way to play fantasy football. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN. And we are also brought to you by Unified. Whether you're a world-class athlete or a podcaster like me, we all understand the importance of mental and physical well-being, proper recovery for top-notch performance. Jags, they might need a little recovery because they seem like they haven't recovered from that Blake Bortles AFC Championship game. They really haven't been the same as a franchise. Maybe they need some Unified. Unified Healing is a new and super innovative global network of wellness centers powered by Energy Enhancement System, or EE System. If you haven't heard of EE System yet, you'll want to listen up. This technology promotes wellness, deep relaxation, purification, and rejuvenation. Whether you're here in LA or hundreds of other locations across the globe, access to a center is easy and affordable. Make sure you check out unified.com. That's UNIFYD.com to check out the EE System technology for yourself. unifiedhealing.com. No material testimonials on the Unified Healing website are intended to be viewed as medical advice or substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you have regarding a medical condition or treatment and before undertaking a new healthcare regimen, including EE system.
And we can. All right. So I was just glancing through. I'm staying pretty balanced on the over. Oh, you're doing a good job too. I think you probably have a couple more unders than I do. Not surprising since you're so negative. Chargers, Harbaugh, you said you like him. You're buying him more than you're buying some of the other first year coaches. Probably a fair assessment, but the roster has been carved up a little bit. 5 wins last year. 9.5 was the win.
Watch,
total.
he's gonna have Herbert throw like 15 passes a game, and it's gonna work. He's gonna win all these like 24, 21, 17, 13 games. I don't know.
Gus Bus in town doing.
My early take is
it's 8.5. Massive juice to the over.
Yeah, and I'm not playing any -160 win totals, so stay tuned when we actually do our team division previews. But right now, I'm feeling for Harbaugh. We'll see what they do in the draft. Lot can change, but right now this team needs credibility. This team needs a divining rod, and it's Harbaugh. So
I mean, he always maximizes, which is something the Chargers aren't used to. But it seem like they're cratering the roster.
Yeah, and this could just be a turn and burn year.
Under. If I'm in on the Raiders, I'm out on the Chargers, Sean. I told you.
But I mean, also too, like Herbert, what's his prime? How many prime years you're going to waste a prime Herbert year?
I still think Herbert getting dealt is on the table, and to allow him to draft McCarthy.
Now, I mean, that would be great. Or, and this is a little more of an obvious. So Herbert's going into his 5th year, which is like prime franchise QB years. You shouldn't be wasting one of those years, in my opinion. Someone was saying, well, I mean, how many spots are there above Harbaugh? Every time that someone's drafting a quarterback ahead of Harbaugh in the draft class, it's helping Harbaugh. So if he can lead the charge to get the Vikings or the Giants to draft JJ McCarthy, which are the leading candidates, that's good for the Chargers.
Oh, so you're saying he's selling his college quarterback to trick people?
I'm not saying he's tricking them, but I think he's killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
I wonder if he thinks Herbert's a better quarterback than McCarthy, because he said very positive things about McCarthy.
So how say this? Let's say he's sticking with Herbert, which he probably is. Again, the trade market for Herbert, if he was going to do it, you've wasted all your value, right? You would have had massive. If you were going to trade Herbert, you should have done it before everyone else tried and got a quarterback. I mean, you don't think the Falcons would have been interested in Justin Herbert? You don't think the Steelers would have been interested in Justin Herbert?
Sure.
So you could have created a massive bidding war and probably got way more than if you just dealt him.
You're not trying to be good this year. You want the picks next year. Maybe it's a draft game.
But you could work that out.
You can't trade a franchise. I mean, you would be stupid to trade.
So
Herbert.
Again, if they missed the window of getting much better value.
But maybe
objectively.
But not if the pick becomes more valuable. I don't know.
What?
It's a sliding scale. I mean,
what do you mean? If you're trying to get the most out of Justin Herbert, are you better trading him now or before free agent, like right when free agency started?
He would have had more suitors, but I think it only takes one with a quarterback. I mean, I agree with you generally. Generally.
Crazy.
What do you mean? That they wouldn't still I'm just saying that I am not willing to say that there's 0% chance that he gets.
Oh, sure. Anything can happen, but I would say you would have been crazy to wait.
So what do you think I mean, unrelated, but are they drafting a receiver then?
I think they're drafting linemen. Smash mouth football.
Smash!
Under. Rams.
He doesn't give a fuck about your dumb Marvin Harrison.
8.5 as well. They won 10 last year. With Donald retiring, how many wins is he worth?
Yeah, but that's the other thing too. Like I mentioned that a little bit with the Cardinals, but then they did do very well in the draft, drafting these nobodies that they had their expression fuck the picks.
Great year.
That D lineman was in the mix for defensive rookie of the year. Maybe should have gotten it. So the problem is, what is Stafford like? He was hanging on by a thread. I mean, you kind of feel for him because they closed the season so strong. They almost beat the Ravens there in Baltimore. They almost won that game against the Lions. I don't know if they got one more in them.
He's got that. His wife's starting beef with E from Entourage.
I did see that. Yeah, Stafford's wife got gypped out of a podcasting deal.
Look, I think last year was about the ceiling of what we were going to see from this fragile roster. I think some of the things that happened on the defensive side of the ball.
Stetson Bennett is back, Ryan.
Oh, that's big. You credit to Aaron Donald being on the field, but you also credit to the now head coach of the Atlanta Falcons that everyone was touting as just amazing defensive coordinator, Raheem Morris. So I think you expect the defense to take a step back for obvious reasons, and I think the chances that we see the same out of the offense, sure, maybe there's still another year of this offense. Puka, they hit on Kyron Williams, they have the pieces. But to me, it's Stafford. Stafford's the scary piece. Stafford's the piece to me that I under.
Under. Yeah.
We talked about it all last year, how fragile I don't think the rosters. I still think the roster is very fragile. And I think some of the guys who hit last year hit because they were playing next to Aaron Donald.
Yeah, I'll go under here, but the Rams to me is still kind of a question mark. I just don't know if Stafford, I mean, he had like back and spine. I mean,
spinal.
Yeah, we even have a little. I did catch a press conference of Matt Stafford discussing his back issues.
I broke my back.
What do you mean by that?
My back is broken.
What a vertebrae or what portion?
Spinal.
Oh man, Mike Tyson saying spinal. I could listen to it all day. Kramer, what do you got?
Steelers, another 8.5.
No thought. Smash.
Arthur Smith no longer
Smash.
has stink on him because he's coaching with Mike Tomlin.
Brought in Cordero Patterson, which is not good for Jalen Warren.
What do you mean?
Najee Harris fantasy shares.
He's only brought in for the new kickoff role.
No.
Cordero Patterson is the best person in the league.
C-Pat, as he calls him. You know, C-Pat's getting some carries.
Hey, you get to return every kickoff, dude. Oh, I'm in.
Mike Tomlin never had a losing season. It's an auto play. The Steelers, they're going to be 9-8. They're going to be in the playoffs. They're going to be catching double digits against some team. I'm going to talk myself into why they're going to win outright, and then they're going to get destroyed. Come on.
They won 10 games.
9, 12, 8. They were 8-8. So not a losing season. 9, 13, 11, 10, 11, 8-8, 8-8, 12-4, 12-4, 9-7, 12-4, 10-6.
There's exactly over. Bucks 8.5 lost the offensive coordinator to the Panthers plus 125 to the over here. They were 6.5 last year. They went over 9-8.
Had them to win the division. You're welcome, America.
Feels like we kind of hit a ceiling maybe last year.
Yeah,
near ceiling. So you got to take the under here. The juice is expensive.
Baker after he gets paid, fade. I mean, Baker was. I didn't realize this, and it was kind of a bummer. But I guess someone that was really close to Baker was a financial advisor or something.
Oh, stole all his money.
Yeah, so he was literally playing for his livelihood.
Well, he told the whole nation what his fucking security code was. 1, 2, 3, 4. Real dummy. Yeah.
But now he got paid $12 million fraud petition. That is
how does that
bonkers.
still happen?
I don't know. How does Ohtani not notice $4.5 million, right? Good problems to have.
It sounds like you got a memo from the MLB and trying to pass on this propaganda. Ohtani was definitely gambling. Had a big powwow.
Hashtag Legends only.
Had a big powwow at the volleyball game, the youth volleyball event I was at this weekend. Everyone agrees. Too many red flags. Bucks, you have to take the under. So easy. Falcons. Sean, this one opened at 10.5. It's now down to 9.5, minus 140 to the over. Certainly a massive adjustment upwards. They were a 7-win team last year. Is Kirk Cousins worth, or how many wins is Kirk Cousins worth over Desmond Ridder? Because you are the #1 Desmond Ridder critic. And you're not a huge Kirk Cousins fan, but what's how many wins?
I just the entire time last year, everyone.
How many wins?
And maybe it's just the fantasy people were like, well, so Desmond Ridder's coming in for Marcus Mariota. That's got to be an upgrade, right? And no, it doesn't. We saw it. He was Probably slightly worse, if not as shitty as Marcus Mariota.
So
Taylor
Cousins,
Heineke, whatever his name is, also shitty.
Taylor. How many wins is Kirk Cousins worth over Desmond Ridder?
That is a good question, Ryan.
Because if the answer for you is greater than 2.5, you like the over.
Well, and I guess I'm I guess I am always skeptical of the hype team, right? And Falcons just have so much hype coming in. I'm gonna go under 9.5. I'll have to see what the schedule comes out, right? Because that'll determine how many primetime games they have, and that will ultimately
they're gonna get
determine
so many primetime games, dude.
I mean,
You like that? You like that?
Kirk, my problem is
How many times?
anytime the Vikings or anytime Kirk Cousins in particular has expectations is when he fails. When no one believes in him, like that one playoff game where he shocked the world and took down the Saints, that's where he shows up. A lot of other times he doesn't show up. He's Kirk Cousins. He's a 4th round pick who's exceeded where he got drafted, and old quarterbacks coming off an Achilles is a bit of a red flag. I know he's not a mobile guy, but still, you need to have good legs to plant, to throw the ball.
Can I make a prediction?
Sure.
Do you remember the heroic Aaron Rodgers field entrance, only to be popped?
Yes.
When his Achilles went, I think we could see a similar thing with Kirk Cousins.
Well, and that
how many times has he?
Aaron
won
Rodgers was the first play of the season.
Yeah, fourth snap. Did he had? Wasn't it? That wasn't the first snap, was it? In my mind, there was a previous, but anyway.
Oh, it was like 3 snaps. I don't think he attempted a pass.
How many times has Kirk Cousins won over 9.5 times in a season?
Let's say 2 seasons.
2 seasons. The 2019 Vikings and the 2022 Vikings. The 2022 Vikings, if you recall, Sean, lost to my Giants in the postseason. So
I do remember,
and they were used.
Frauds.
They were poster childs for the analytics community. So yeah, we got to go under here. Houston Texans, 9.5. Sean, big bump. 5.5 last year. They won the 10 games.
Yeah, I'm still high on them. Well coached, like what they're doing in the offseason. CJ Stroud may improve. CJ Stroud just is a dog. I'm not going to fade him. I understand you're not getting a great price, but I feel like the Texans are pretty good to win double digits. So
I don't think it's a horrible price. I mean, they did win more games than this last year. They dealt with horrible offensive line issues all year long. They dealt with it. Bobby Slowick sticking around for a second year. Offense gets to stick together. Tank Dell's going to come back.
They played well in the playoffs. Like they had some momentum coming into the season. I guess what concerns me is everyone's going to have them to win the AFC.
Who'd they sign at running back, Sean? Joe Mixon.
Nah, he sucks.
You don't like that.
I think
you
it's
don't think that gives them a bit of attitude. I mean, I like Devin Singletary, but
when was the last time Joe Mixon? What do you think Joe Mixon's stats are? Because I actually looked into it. Not good.
What do you mean?
When was the last time Joe Mixon had more than 4.2 yards per attempt?
Oh, I'm
in a season.
I'm not too worried about that based on what the team he was on, how they were using him. I mean, he's now going into the.
I'm just saying. I don't know if it's a massive swing. I don't mind it because I think.
Oh, I love the attitude he brings to that team.
All right.
I think he could be sneaky good. He's someone in fantasy that I'm willing to eat some of the old running back shit on. And yeah, I'm obviously high on the Texans. I'm not jumping off the train now, Sean.
No, why would you?
Dolphins 9.5, massive juice to the over -145. They won 11 last year. They went over. The total's the same as it was. This was a tough one for me.
Yeah, because they lost Fangio. They lost some of their bigger defensive guys, kind of cap casualties. But Mike McDaniel at home. You still have Tyreek Hill. They re-signed Mostert. Achane looked pretty good.
Shootout. They're not. I can't take a team that's going to play no defense to win 10 to go 10-7.
Eh.
When they're going to split all their divisional games. they don't have the extra home. To me, last year was the best opportunity that they've had, and they had some injuries. Their guys are fragile. Well, they're going to be fragile. I don't think
they're going to
again.
be going on a run.
They're in cap hell. They're very top heavy. A lot of the same things you can say about the Rams, you can say about the Dolphins. It's a big number this is a big price to pay. I would go under way before I took over.
Yeah, I mean,
especially where the price is.
I'll go under 9.5 right now, but them 9 and 8, 10 and 7, that feels about right now.
Plus, it's Tua. They're going to pay Tua. When's that happen? Any chance that
yet?
Any chance that happens before the season?
They're going to trade for Herbert, Ryan.
Ooh, that's interesting.
No one's trading for Herbert.
Harbaugh with Tua. Imagine the pictures of Harbaugh and Tua doing judo together.
Draft day 2.0. Harbaugh offers Justin Herbert to Chicago Bears.
Jets also at 9.5. Okay, what are we serious? You can't.
This team's cursed.
They won 7 last year with Zach Wilson and a bunch of trash.
Oh, you're taking the over?
No. That
no.
Well,
they have core issues.
Robert Saleh also. Like at some point, we have to accept that maybe he's a beautiful man who smiles nicely on the sideline, but not a great football coach.
On paper, the idea of Aaron Rodgers coming in for Zach Wilson, yeah, sure, but this is the Jets. They find ways to fuck things up.
Does he stay healthy this year? If he stays healthy, they go over this.
I don't know.
It's very hard for me to want to bet on that. Under. Under because I'm going to take the over on the Bill. All right, so we're up to 10.5 now. Bills, they went 11-6 last year. It seemed like a bad season for them. I know they're also in some cap situation. They had to turn over the roster a bit. The juice -145 to the over, but you still got to take over. They still have Josh Allen. They have Steph Diggs still on the roster. I think she's still on the roster. They let the Gabe Davis go, but who cares? They got the 2 tight end look with Knox and Kincaid.
Yeah, they'll win a lot of regular season games. Over 10.5 pretty easily.
McDermott, solid. His defense will be solid. It'll never be bad. All right, Bengals. Joe Burrow comes back. Their win total was 11.5 last year. Sean's 10.5 this year. So we're getting a little bit of a discount. Seems like T. Higgins still on the roster. Going to be around. I don't know how you take under here, unless this is like you predicted Aaron Rodgers is going to get hurt. How are you so certain Joe Burrow isn't going to get hurt? I don't know. He's younger. It's as simple as that. And I think this Bengals team, even though their owner is a cheap piece of shit, they have a really nice roster right now. And this is the window. The Bengals window closes when T. Higgins no longer on the team.
Well, and I think this year will be a little different because and normal and I jinxed it last year. I said something similar, but I don't think they're going to start out slow this year because in previous years it was like, oh, they had a deep playoff run. Okay, I think all right, start a little slow, but now coming off that injury, he's going to be 100% healthy. I think Joe Burrow is going to want to hit the ground running. They're going to want those home playoff games, so I think them to have like the most regular season wins is kind of interesting. Normally they're a team that peaks late, but I could see them actually starting hot this year.
Yeah, I like I think we both like the Zach Moss signing. And we like the other running back. I'm blanking on his name, Brown. I think I'm gonna have to review this because I might be over on all 4 AFC North teams.
I think we were last year, and I think it almost hit.
All 4 teams finished over 500. Probably gonna be a little tougher for the AFC to do that with the less home games. Cowboys 10.5. -120 to the under. They won 12 last year. Come on, no Moss.
That is a disgusting act.
They're bringing Zeke back.
They got nothing, and they're not going to extend Dak because they know he's not the guy.
I was very. You talk to any Cowboy fan, they don't want Dak on their team. The energy is not good for business. And I'm never going to take the over. Come on, Detroit Lions. 12-5 last year, Sean. The win total goes from 9.5 to 10.5. Seems fair. I think the idea that their division is going to be more competitive involves them, a team that has accomplished a bunch of stuff, and then a bunch of teams who have not accomplished, and a lot of projection. And so, in some ways, I see that price and it's like, holy shit, you're not going to take an over on the Lions at 10.5, are you? But on the other side, well, if the Bears are frauds and the Vikings don't add to their quarterback room and it's Sam Darnold and Jordan Love takes a slight step back, I know you're higher on him than most. So and they're sitting side by side with the Packers, and I know I kind of have to take one or the other. I'm definitely going to take the Lions over before I take the Packers.
Yeah, I'm going to go opposite of you. I like the way the Packers finished the season.
I don't like the way they treated Aaron Jones.
I'm gonna go under on the Lions and over on the Packers for now. Again, we'll see what they do in the draft, but I feel like the Packers were kind of being aggressive, and I did like some of the moxie I saw out of Jordan Love, a little Brett Favre in them. I think they're well coached, especially at home. Still got a nice home edge there. This should be a fun division though up top here, Packers Lions. But I wouldn't be shocked if one team wins 11, the other one's 9-8, 10-7. So these ones are tough, I think, up top. But I'll go over Packers under Lions right now.
Packers, one of the bigger adjustments, up only tied with the Ravens and only second to the Texans in terms of win total adjustment year to year. So that would be the concern, is that they would have that hype word next to them. Eagles, Sean, your Eagles 10.5 plus 105 to the over. Price feels about right to me. They went 11-6 last year. Same win total last year. They seem like they're in the middle of the we're competing because Jalen Hurts is extra cheap, and we're pushing the chips to the middle and spending money even on positions like running back with guys who were dust.
Not really trade, spending that much money.
Until the trade happened. Probably got to go over though. I think you got to go over before you go under.
Yeah, no.
Barkley makes their team better this year, assuming he stays healthy.
Losing Reddick.
That didn't make sense to me still.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, the fact that Jets players and Jets fans, they were pissed off about it. They're like, we lost. Basically, we gave the Eagles a younger version of Hassan Reddick and a second round pick. That was their spin on it. Again, I would have liked to see Reddick on the Eagles this year, but every time I've doubted Howie Roseman, he's shown he was one step ahead. So I'll have to trust in Howie, because off the top of my head, I can't think of an Eagles trade where they got rid of a guy that was playing at a high level and then regretted it. So
yeah, I mean, Hassan Reddick is definitely a better player than Bryce Huff. I know the spreadsheet nerds really like Bryce Huff.
No, I think some of that
is a rotational player.
Is a projection that Bryce Huff will be, taking a step up this year, and that Hassan Reddick is aging, hitting, age 30.
No, I get the game. I get the strategy of it.
Maybe. I mean, on paper, you could make a case that
some guys are just fucking dogs, and Hassan Reddick is a guy who gets after a quarterback.
No,
in a different kind of way.
I would have rather Hassan Reddick be on this team this year, but again, I was saying this in my group text. I go, what was the bad Howie Roseman trade?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to. I mean, I'm not. You're a fan of the team. You're more familiar.
But I mean, if there was, off the top of your head,
if they give away a third. The thing with Howie is every trade in the moment's good, so it's hard to remember one as being bad after the fact, unless you're going to do the work to go and be like, see, I told you so. I think.
Do you want to hear his five worst trades?
There was a lot of hype about that safety he fleeced off the Titans for like a 3rd round pick that you guys cut 2 months later. Not saying that's bad. It's only a 3rd rounder, but I'm sure there's a bunch of pick. I'm sure there's a bunch of other stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at these. Dorial Green Beckham.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, but
that was a hype play.
But again,
big time recruit.
This is like you're taking a shot on a guy with like a 6th or 7th round pick. Deion Lewis for Emmanuel Acho. I mean, someone wrote up the Eagles. And this is the first one that came to mind.
So what got
trading for Golden Tate, I thought was a bad one. But in his defense, he had Golden Tate did have a huge catch in that Bears playoff game.
Yeah, I mean, what got Howie put in the closet in the first place?
Just Chip's success.
Okay.
Chip wanted full control of the roster.
Oh, what a Chip fucking Kelly, man. All right, we're up to 11.5. Ravens. They were at 8.5 last year. They won 13. They slided all the way up to 11.
I mean, all the bad trades were Chip. It was like getting rid of Deshaun Jackson, LaShawn McCoy.
Well, I think
trading Nick Foles for Sam Bradford. That was all Chip.
I think it does speak in general to the idea of, what to value on a roster. I think, he seems to have drifted off his normal course over the last 12 months, but yeah, it just shows you roster construction is the most important thing in real life and in best ball, Sean. All right. So Ravens, it slid up 3 from last year. They did win 13. Obviously, I don't think they're going to win 13 again. Their division is awfully tough. To project them to win any more than 3 in their division would be reckless. I think when we go through the win totals, I'll probably just chop the North all the way down.
Yep.
So that's 3 losses right there.
I'm on the under.
They got the extra game or 2. So,
well, man, it's 11.5. I don't know, man. If you're a Ravens fan, if you're Lamar Jackson, like, where do you go from here, man? You had it. You had the perfect season. You had the MVP. Granted, I was on the Chiefs on the money line. But what do you do from here? Like, you're just going to keep losing to the Chiefs?
It's hard to take them up here. It's hard to want to get on these big win totals unless you're talking Kansas City.
Yeah.
Super Bowl hangover. Don't care. What was they were 11.5 last year. They went under. I guess this is where we discussed. Do we just take the division? Right. Like how confident are we? They went under last year.
I'll take the over 11.5, but you're right. I think you just take them to win the division. It'll probably be, minus, what was it? Minus 160 last year. You might even get a slightly better price this year.
Think about what they're dealing with. It's brand new coach Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Granted, Herbert's there, but then you have Antonio Pierce and somebody maybe, and you have
Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. And yeah, I'm with you. I think
Gardner Minshew, okay, but not exactly.
The guy who's going to win you double-digit games. I like Minshew.
Hollywood Brown on this Chiefs team suddenly becoming a little bit more important after Rashee Rice.
Well, we'll see what happens to Rashee Rice.
Hanging out with Jalen Carter.
If they can find him.
Learning some tricks from Jalen Carter there out on the streets. Yeah, you got to. I'm not fading the Chiefs right now. Not wise. And last one, Niners, 11.5 plus 125 to the over. They won 12 last year. I know you're
this Niners team under.
I know, but they did all of this with crappy Brock Purdy. And why wouldn't they just run this back? Christian McCaffrey, unless you're predicting, are you predicting injury on Christian McCaffrey?
I don't know. He's getting up there.
I'll take an under, but I don't like it.
It's as someone who just experienced the season, and Katie Mox was quick to point out. Well, she pointed it out when the Eagles lost the Super Bowl. We'll see if she points it out again when the Niners are coming off a Super Bowl loss, but it's tough to get up for that year after losing the Super Bowl. It just is.
I mean, and yeah, we don't know anything about the water in San Francisco. If it cures hangovers, we know it probably has human fecal matter in it.
Well, I think all water does to some degree. Oh, what are you doing, Ryan?
You just bumming everyone out. No, I
use a Brita.
I'm taking. You think that fucking filter's filtering out shit? A charcoal filter would filter out
Charcoal's
shit.
good. Yeah.
Under. I think I have. I probably should also say under for the Chiefs. Just to in theory, you shouldn't probably play these overs, but.
Okay, Kramer. Closing it out here, of course, HOF Bets, Hall of Fame bets. Bet smarter, not harder. Shout out to producer Josh, winning a bunch of parlays with Hall of Fame bets. Again, I do a ton of research for all the shows. It's me tooling around, looking on, digging in all these reference sites, finding some stats, some trends, some nuggets. HOFBets.com. Hall of Fame bets makes it really way easier. You can download the app. You can do it on your mobile phone. Perfect if you're firing off. Let's say you got $10 in bonus bets. You're gonna fire off some moonshot. You got to do it over on Hall of Fame bets. Download the app. Use promo code SGPN. Get your 50% off your first month. Don't ask me. Ask people in the Discord. I see the Hall of Fame bets screenshots they share, and again, the DJs wouldn't be sharing those if they weren't hitting. So HOFBets.com, promo code SGPN. Kramer, what do you got? 2 maybe your favorite ones right now?
Yeah, I'm gonna go just purely off of the ones that as I just seems to be big adjustment. I can't fully explain it. Broncos over.
That was gonna be mine. I'll include that as well.
Broncos over, and then I think I want to get. We'll go the other way, and it's either Atlanta or Green Bay. I think let's just make it. Let's go with Atlanta.
Atlanta under 9.5.
Yeah.
All right, I'll give people a classic tradition. Steelers over 8.5. Lock it up.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. Mother lock, early lock here. Broncos over 5.5. Sean Payton's not a 5-win type of guy. They'll figure out ways to win.
Yeah, that one just seems over adjusted to me, as does Atlanta. I mean, come on, guys. Kirk Cousins. Remember the time he kneeled the ball instead of spiking it?
And shout out to our favorite butcher in New Zealand, Ryan, making bacon. I must have missed it, but let's go Pats. I took the over 5.5 for this year. I don't expect big things, but 6 wins. Come on, let's go zippity zappy. They can beat the Jets all day. Yes, we were both with you there making bacon on the over 5.5, or sorry, over 4.5.
Yeah, we got a 4.5.
We got a 4.5, but it's minus 150. So I'm with you because I do think. Just all their 1-score losses.
Sean's laughing, but they're going to be playing with Jacoby Brissett this year.
No, I'm not laughing at all. I think he's a perfect bridge quarterback, and he's a guy they'll be like 3-2, and if Pats fans will be annoyed because they'll want to see the rookie, but Brissett will be winning them games. I can totally see it.
I have slowly started talking myself into the idea that Robert Kraft drafting Marvin Harrison's son would create some sort of. Would fix something in Robert Kraft's weird demented life, and that they're fine. They have said a couple. Now they could be lying, but they have said they like Brissett. So maybe
it's lion season, Ryan. It's lion season. Look
not
out.
lions, lying.
Might be some real lions over there as well. Hey, Merch Madness will extend it to the Final Four. Use that promo code Madness, 50% off everything in the merch store, including those sweet zebra print pants. DGen.University. Get your applications in. Show the pants off, Kramer. And these things, I mean, some would say they remind you of Zubaz pants. I can't confirm or deny that. Zubaz is trademarked. By
the way, our corporate or our university logo is pretty fire.
Yes. And inaugural class. I think maybe we'll announce on the Final Four show, Ryan. So still time to get in your applications. DGen.University. I'm working on getting a fake diploma going. So
thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green, and he is Ryan.
I guess go Broncos.
Kramer, let it ride.